Look at our very special guest today on the Don Lemon Show. It's Mathew Knowles, an entertainment executive, speaker, the brand architect of Destiny's Child Solange, and someone named Beyoncé. I don't know if you know her, but an emerging artist. Kidding. Mr. Knowles, good to see you.
Don, when I first met you, she was an emerging artist.
No, you're giving away my age. I mean, how long ago was that?
God, like 1997, 98.
Can you believe that? I was at the NBC News? I mean, it was a while ago. Wow.
Long time.
Look at what happened. Look at that. She's become a big success and has eclipsed everyone. And I mean that. And just the talent is, undeniable. But in order for you can be as talented as you want to be, you have to have good people around you. And I want to talk to you about that. You have to have good management. And you were definitely a great manager for her. We'll get into all of that. But can we start with the breaking news, please? Because NBC News is reporting that hard drives containing unreleased music from your daughter were stolen from her choreographer's car in Atlanta last week. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I don't know anything other than what I heard in the news, but I can tell you, Don, her choreographer had better be glad that I'm not still managing her, because he would be in hot water. First of all, why did he have a hard drive with all her music? He's a choreographer. And if he did have it, why didn't he secure it? You never, ever would leave anything like that in a car.
Mm-hmm.
So that's troublesome to me.
Well, it should be troublesome. So what does that mean, though? Because the music has not been released. Someone can take it, they can pirate it, or they can either use it to try to create their own thing. What does something like this mean for an artist to have their music, their unreleased music, stolen, Mr. Knowles?
I think what it means in this case that Beyonce will have to make a decision if she's going to release now. She was working on another project, and now she might have to release it sooner than she had anticipated.
What happens to this choreographer? I mean, if you were there, we know what would happen, but what should happen?
Yeah, I mean, that should never, ever happen.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah. Since you mentioned that, we're talking about it, and then we'll get to the mentor and the management and all of that. What's your relationship like now? Because it seems like you guys are cool. You're in contact, and you knew she was working on something and having it released. So what's your relationship like now?
Well, I'm dad, and I love that relationship of being dad. I still find it hard, though, Don, when I go to a concert, not to put my management hat on. So I try to not to do it, but it still happens. I'm watching the lights and I'm like, oh, that didn't go off right. Oh, the sound the vocals need to be turned up. But now I play the role of dad, granddad, with the grandkids, and Jules Solange's son is now 20 and doing exceptionally well as a male model. So I'm just playing that role and enjoying it.
Yeah, and Solange is doing well too. Yes. So you go to the concerts and you say that you want to be manager. What was your reaction? Because I was scared, whatless, when I saw the malfunction with the car at the concert. Were you at that concert?
No, I wasn't at that concert.
When
I saw it.
What'd you think?
Well, I know that there are safety measures that are put in place always. It didn't bother me. And Beyonce is such a professional, and her team are so professional. Nobody panicked, and she told them with a stern voice to let her down. And they realized something was wrong, and they handled it very, very well.
Yeah. I like the car, but I also like the horse. I don't know. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, my favorite is the horse. Yeah.
You like the horse better than the car?
Yeah, I mean, the horse goes with the whole thing, right? We're talking about, country music and cowboys and, like ride horses, right? They don't drive cars. They ride horses, man.
Mr. Knowles, I'm glad you mentioned that, because when this whole thing came out, when the country album came out, and I was on the internet I gave Beyonce her props. I'm like, she's reminding people that where country music actually came from, and that's from Black folks and the influence that African Americans had on country music. And I think that a lot of people didn't understand it, or they were getting it wrong, or they don't know the history of this country. She was simply reminding people of the contributions of Black folks.
Well, most people don't realize, and I teach at Pepperdine, one of my courses is African American aesthetic culture from spirituals to hip hop. And we actually cover when the slaves came to America, they brought over an instrument called a canting.
Yes.
That was the banjo. So Black folks, since the beginning of slavery in America, were playing country music, singing country music. The Grand Ole Opera first
Mm-hmm.
performance was with a
Mm-hmm.
Black man who was a former slave, DeFord Bailey. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people just don't know the history of country music in America.
They don't. And again, that you reminded folks. And since we're here, let me ask you about this, because I also find it very frustrating, despite the fact that she's one of the biggest artists to ever live. And I think just, her talent is just undeniable. Your daughter still gets respected, and I believe rather routinely, by certain voices in country music. Just earlier this month, singer Gavin Adcock said on stage that her latest album, quote, ain't country music. What do you make of that, Mr. Knowles?
Well, everybody has their perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been open to listening and hearing other perspectives, but that's actually not accurate. It is country music. You might put in a classification of contemporary country
Mm-hmm.
music. I
Mm-hmm.
think the Grammys got it right just recently, coming up with another category called contemporary uh, country music. Even in R&B, we have traditional R&B and we have contemporary R&B. We look at the Grammys, but that it is country music, absolutely country music. And again, if you know the history of America, then you would already know and understand that Black folks, we've been listening to country music, appreciating it since the beginning of time.
And that is it. When you talk about contemporary, you're talking about right now, right in the beginning of time. But I remember growing up listening to Charlie Pride. I remember when Lionel Richie did "Sail On Down the Road About Half a Mile or So." You know what I mean?
You're trying to get a record deal done?
Yes, I'm trying to get a record. If you can help me out, if you can help a brother out.
Boy, you lit up when I said that.
Yes, of course. Look, I can carry a tune, but not that great. But let me just tell, since you're the king of transitions here, of segues, because this is where I want to go. You can be as talented as you want to be, or you can be not so talented. It's that plays a part in it, but having a really good manager is important. Am I wrong about that? And that played a huge role. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, in Beyonce's success.
Well, you're absolutely right. I'm very proud that I was her manager for 20 plus years. And that manager role is the second most important next to the artist. Our role is to make sure and ensure that whatever the vision of the artist that we execute, but it's also bigger than that, Don. It's also coming up with the strategy, being an architect. How are we going to get there to the end mean? How do we communicate and build a team? It's critically important to have the right team, understanding what record labels do, but the marketing, leading the marketing and understanding branding and brand development. All of those things are critically important. Artists simply does not have the time or the bandwidth to do all of that.
Yeah. They need guidance. And especially, I always say, here's the thing. And look, this is just in comparison and not about actual technique or methods. But I go back to the day of Michael Jackson and the Jackson Five, or the Jackson Five. And Michael Jackson clearly is like Michael Jackson and Beyonce are on like the same trajectory. They're superstars, and the Jackson Five, like him or not, there was controversial, but Joe Jackson was really responsible for the success of the Jackson Five? And again, I'm not comparing how you guys do it, but I'm just saying you both happen to be fathers. And I think that they were, in order to have the success that they had, they were lucky to have Joe Jackson, Destiny's Child, and Beyonce were lucky to have Mathew Knowles.
Well, I think you're right. Joe had his own
Right.
approach and methodology. Joe was more of a musician. So as I see Joe Jackson, he was very instrumental in the musical development of the Jackson Five and of Michael. Mine has been more so the business development. Again, on understanding the marketing, understanding what differentiates Destiny's Child from the other groups, what differentiates Beyonce, and understanding how critically important brand development is, and having a brand identity. Because, Don, if you don't have a brand identity, you don't have anything to market.
Mm.
And if you don't have anything to market, you might as well close your doors.
Yeah.
Marketing played a huge role in Destiny's Child and Beyonce.
Speaking of, just I'm going to go off the subject a little bit and then I'll get back. But the girls or young ladies, I'm just using that figuratively. Don't get mad at anybody. But they said that they look to you as their father as well. You still mentoring them, and you said, I try not to be dad when you go to the concerts, but do you try not to be dad around the girls as well?
Well, I'm very proud of Michelle and Kelly. I went to Broadway. Years ago, that was a strategy.
Yeah.
Michelle first musical on Broadway was Aida.
Yeah.
That was not happenstance that she's on Broadway right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud, like a dad, to see her on Broadway. Kelly, I just saw Kelly on a TV show of Building a Band just a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
And all of that makes me very, very proud.
Yeah. That Charlie's Angels collaboration, that wasn't just happenstance as well, because that was huge.
Yeah, it was. That was an example as where the music really drove the movie. You take that song out of the movie, you might have a different ending.
Agreed. Okay, so back to where we were. About a month ago, you were speaking at the London College of Contemporary Music, and you said that you're, quote, very grateful to have been the best manager in the history of music. How did you become the GOAT?
Hey, I just gave myself a title. No, but Don, when you look at, and most people don't realize, Billboard is considered our Bible. That's what we measure success in the music industry is Billboard magazine. And if you look at the Billboard of the decade from 2000 to 2009, Beyonce was the number one female artist in the world. Wow. We're talking 2000, 2009. Wow. Destiny's Child was the number two group in the world, and they were second only to NSYNC. Wow. So in the top 10 of all the artists in the world, Destiny's Child and Beyonce were in the top 10. It's also interesting that Jay-Z was also in the top 10. So when you look at and measure that success, Destiny's Child being a number one female group of all time, Beyonce now potentially being the number one female artist of all times, and what did they have in common? Mathew Knowles as their manager.
Let's see. You're the one I want. No, sorry. You're the one I need. Okay, is that good? Can I get a music contract? I'm kidding, Mr. Knowles. I'm ready if you are. If you could train anybody, I might need it. But listen, joking around. I was reading a piece in Rolling Stone earlier, and it was titled, What the Music Industry Doesn't Talk About Enough. No artist makes it alone. They cite you and your daughter, Beyonce, as a pair that needed each other in order to conquer the music industry. Do you agree with that quote?
I absolutely do in so many ways.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, Beyonce has just tremendous, tremendous talent. And she has a tremendous passion to be the very best. She's always wanted to be number one, the best artist in music. That was her goal. And I think when you look at her passion, her talents, her work ethics, when you combine that with the knowledge that I had in marketing and sales, coming from corporate America, we approached the industry differently. The music industry was selling records.
Mm-hmm.
We were branding and building endorsement relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We built a relationship, for example, done with L'Oreal, who had a $25 million marketing budget. Beyonce's marketing budget at Sony was $1 million. So when you combine that now, you have a larger audience. She's in the commercial, the music is in the commercial, and that's what's our approach. Nobody really understood when I was doing all these endorsement deals with Mercedes and American Express and Nintendo and Walmart and Pepsi and McDonald's, and having McDonald's. No, we're not going to be part of French fries and hamburgers. We want you to create a healthy salad.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody knows how those partnerships really, really, that was the nucleus. That's what really got Beyonce to where she is today, was having those strategic partnerships.
Brilliant. That was brilliant. When did you realize? Look, I'm sure we've seen all the old videos from her on the talent shows, and I don't know if she was in beauty contests or whatever. I mean, beauty and brains and
No,
it was talent shows.
Just talent yeah.
shows. So when did you have an inkling that your daughter wasn't just going to be a star, but she was going to be a legend? Do you have a particular moment where you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I two things. One, she first competed. She was about 7, 8 years old, and she competed against junior high school kids. And we were sitting there, and she says, "Hey, Mom, Dad, when am I going to go up on the stage and so I can win my trophy and my $100?" And we're like, "Oh, hold up. You haven't done this before." She went out there, and that's when she completely morphed into a different kid. That's why that album, Sasha Fierce, came about. Because when she's on the stage, she's a different person.
Yeah.
And she won and got a trophy and $100. The second thing is when she lost on Star Search, because she had never lost a competition before. Something about failure sometimes motivates us.
Can you say that louder for the people in the back? Because you got to fail, right? You shouldn't be afraid. And you have to, I believe at least once, right?
Absolutely, because failure is an opportunity to grow, not a reason to quit. And when they failed, that's when she really, really imploded.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Support comes from Mint Mobile. Let's be real. Summer should be about cookouts, should be about beach days, swimming, unplugging, not stressing over another outrageous wireless bill. So that's why so many people, including some of my own team, they're switching to Mint Mobile. With Mint, you get the same premium wireless service that you're used to. Same coverage, same speed, but for way less money. And right now, they're offering 3 months of unlimited service. 3 months of unlimited service for just $15 a month. All Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. And you can keep your phone, you can keep your number, and all of your contact. So my team's been using Mint, and they'll tell you that the quality is just as good as the big carriers. Crystal clear, reliable, and tons of data. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank and get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/downlimit. That's mintmobile.com/downlimit. Now, I need to tell you, upfront payment of $45 is required. It's the equivalent of $15 a month. It's limited time, new customer offer for 3 months only. Speeds may slow at 35 GB on unlimited plan, and taxes and fees are extra. So check with Mint Mobile for details. Support comes from Delete Me. Your personal information is being bought and sold online every single day. Your phone number, your home address, even family details, and that puts you at risk for scams, spam, even identity theft. Delete Me makes it fast and easy to take back control. They scan and remove your personal data from people, search sites, and data brokers all year long. And look, as someone with a public profile, I know how important privacy is. I've seen friends get doxxed. I've been doxxed. I've seen people get harassed, impersonated. It's not just annoying, it can be dangerous. So Delete Me gives you peace of mind. Right now, you can get 20% off just for being a listener. So text Don to 64000 to get started. That's Don to 64000 for 20% off of your Delete Me plan. Message and data rates may apply. That's what you do now, though. You're a motivational speaker. Can we say that's what, besides being a dad and a granddad, right? Is that your next biggest thing, and a husband, but are you a motivational speaker? Is that your thing?
Yeah, that's how I pay the bills, Don. I pay the bills by going all over the world and motivating, educating, and inspiring people, talking about entrepreneurship, talking about greatness and what that means, talking about health and wellness. As you know, I'm a cancer survivor, so I talk a lot about that in the music industry.
Mm-hmm. Um, I want to know, how do you balance, what is the balance between, being a manager, a brand architect, and being a father? Did you find that very difficult to do?
No, it's extremely difficult to do, especially when you have a group, especially when you have two daughters and many other artists on your roster. So it becomes very, very difficult to to make those decisions. Sometimes it's not best for your kid. But as a manager, you have a fiduciary duty to do what's best for the group. So managing Destiny's Child was difficult because then you had more than one person.
When did you realize that? Because I'm sure there was a point where you said, you know what, it's time for someone else to do this.
Uh, Probably around 2009, 2010. Don, I had way too much on my plate. I had sold Music World to a London company, and I became the president of the urban division. And on the record label side, I signed Earth, Wind and Fire, Shaka Khan, OJ's,
Wow.
De La Soul. I was managing Nas. I was managing Mario. I bought four young managers. Ken Du, who was managing Mary J. We had Eve.
Oh
We
my
had Floor Tree.
gosh. Wow.
Nobody really knows this part of me, so I'm glad that you're talking about it. For 8 years, I had that type of roster. Built the largest gospel label, partnered with BET and Sunday Best, Leandra Johnson. I can go on in gospel.
Oh my gosh. You had Shaka and you had the OJs. You know what song I play when I'm getting dressed a lot is "Living for the Weekend."
You really trying
That's
to
the
get that,
OJ. No,
that
I
record.
just love to sing, but I love music. But
Yeah.
I will put on the "Living for the Weekend" because I grew up in the sitting in the back of the my family's Eldorado, listening to the OJs, driving my sister to college at Grambling University. Because we lived one state over. We lived in Louisiana. You guys were in Texas, and so that's why, to me, it's surprising that people don't understand about Black folks' contribution to country music. But
Right.
I grew up listening to that good music, and it never leaves your soul. It's always there.
No, and that's what makes Black music is soul, the soul in Black music.
Mm-hmm.
We
So,
don't just sing it; we feel it.
well, let me ask you then, as you're sitting there, because now, your family you have a legacy of beauty. Your ex-wife does beauty stuff. She also does podcasts and does speaking as well. So she's doing great. Obviously, Beyonce's doing great. Destiny's Child's doing great. And then now you've got Blue Ivy coming up, becoming a star. As you're watching that, does your head just pop off? Are you beaming with pride? Like, what happens when you see her out there doing her thing on the stage and not missing a beat, and at such a young age?
Well, I'm really proud of how she even got involved. Was because she was only supposed to go out there for a brief moment on a previous tour, but someone on social media, they were, kids can be kids on social media, and they said some extremely negative things, and it challenged her. And I remember going to London, and I was like, "Where's Blue Ivy?" It was like, "She's in there practicing." And I was like, "Practicing what?" And then they told me the story. But to see her passion, because it's all about passion.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you live your passion, you don't
Yeah.
work a day in your life. But she works at this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But watch out for Rumi, though.
Yeah. Yes. Rumi's next, right? Why do you say watch out? What do you know that we don't know, we haven't seen? Come on, give us some scoop there, please.
Rumi's going to have the voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rumi's going to have that voice.
So Blue Ivy has the dance moves, not necessarily a voice, you never know, but Rumi's got the voice.
Rumi has the voice. And Blue Ivy is also a songwriter.
Oh, wow.
I think it's going to be a wonderful partnership there and combination.
Did you have any apprehension about having your grandkids out on the stage? Because, you could be the protective hawk.
No, as long as they're having fun, as long as they're having fun and it's what they want to do, as parents, we never forced Beyonce and Solange into any particular area. We wanted them to find their passion, and then we supported them after we realized that that was their passion. But we exposed them to a whole lot of things, science and culture and dance, and Beyonce gravitated towards music.
Did you know, I've been wanting to ask you this and I forgot. Did you know once that Jay-Z and Beyonce got together that it was just going to be like crazy?
Like Crazy in Love?
Ah! Dun, 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 oh, no.
See, you setting me up and I'm setting you up. We got to take this show on the road, Don. Come on, man.
That is one of my favorite Beyonce songs. When I just remember being at a parade of some sort, I forget what it was for, and they were playing that on the float, and my friends and I, we were in New York City, we were going crazy. We're like, that's Beyonce's new song. It was, and that's when I knew, I was like, it's over stratosphere right now. And that's when I knew. I don't even remember what year it was.
Yeah, but Don, let me share with you. When we turned that album into Columbia Records, they rejected it.
What?
Now think about it, and this is where strong management comes in. That album had Crazy in Love, Dangerously in Love, Baby Boy, Me, Myself, and I, and other hits. And they said they didn't hear one hit on the whole album. They were kind of right. It wasn't one, it was 5 hits.
See, you have to know your worth and know your value, and you can't let any label, any brand tell you otherwise. Mathew Knowles, anything else you want to share? It's such a pleasure to talk to you. What is that Grammy up there for at the top of your shelf? Tell us what those awards are behind you.
Yeah, this is Destiny's Child, Say My Name.
Say my name, say my name. Okay, stop setting me up. Go ahead. What else?
These are just some your old home BET for breast cancer and American Cancer Society. The ring up there is 3 years ago. I invested in Chicago Sky WNBA, and we won our championship. So I have a championship ring to share going to the game in 2 weeks when they play Indiana. I'm excited about that.
Mathew Knowles, it's a pleasure to speak with you. To give my love and respect to your family, to your wife, and also to your daughter and your daughters and everyone, your granddaughter, everybody. I'm just so proud of you. And what I really like about you is that some people don't understand that they are the manager or the dad or whatever and not the star. And you always knew that. You knew, right? You knew who the star was.
I like being behind the scenes, man. That's the role of the manager. When something goes wrong, it's our fault. When something goes right, it's the artist's fault. We give them all the credit. So I'm fine with that role, and I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to be a manager for almost 30 years in the industry with some of the best in the industry.
Thank you, sir. Well, we appreciate you. I'd love to see you in person and have a meal Mathew Knowles, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Don Lemon Show.
Hey, thank you, Don.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.